It's Christmas time again, a season of colorful lights, freezing winds, dark evenings and Christmas markets filled with songs and hot wine. It's a time for family and friends gatherings, and the perfect opportunity to spend cozy evenings with a hot cup of tea, a blanket and a good book. There's a wonderful variety of books for the winter season to make you feel cozy and festive, but when crime gets involved, things become more intricate and exciting. Stay with me as I journey through 4 classic English detective stories set during Christmas, and let's see if they're worth the read. Hello everyone, I'm Masha and you're at my channel where we read books, buy books, discuss books, look at books, and speak highly incorrect English. Welcome! So I've just recorded another video about the books I recently read, and I decided that I want to just relax with a new book. Huge lover of detective stories myself, especially recently. I think I'm kind of obsessed with mysteries, and I thought what's a great thing to do is to combine Christmas and detective stories and read a couple of detective books set in Christmas. So yeah, today I'm starting my, let's say, mystery Christmas reading marathon. Okay, I'm starting with An English Murder by Cyril. This book was published in 1951, if I'm not mistaken. So this is kind of real classics. The only thing I know about this book is that it is has a very typical setup. The Christmas Eve, the huge mansion, the gathering of people or family or friends, and the murder. So it's very typical, but although the book is old, so it is difficult for us. Maybe it was not so typical at that time. And I also thought that it would be more honest to start with a more older book and to see how all these tropes evolved until the modern day. So yeah, and yes, let me just decorate my Christmas tree because it has only lights on it and no other decorations. Make a cup of tea and let's go. Well, I've just finished reading this little gem, and when I say little, I mean it, because the book is quite small and you can finish it in one evening. I did not have the full evening to spare for it, but I still read it very quickly, so yes, and I really found it very fascinating. At the first glance, the setup looks like very typical for all the mysteries of that time. Yes, there is the old big mansion. Yes, there is a again old noble head of the family on his deathbed. And yes, there is a couple of successors in line. So the first thought comes to mind is something like, oh yeah, during the big Christmas party, this old man will be murdered by someone because this someone was his money, his house, blah. And the book is quite old, so it's not very correct to expect a lot from it. I think that might put off many of people, this routine plot, but I was prepared for it. I did not expect much, but you know what? And then it was not so simple as that. For starters, the mansion itself isn't in a great shape. There is not enough money to repair everything that's broken, to pay the staff, to maintain everything properly. All this estate in a state of slow decay. Nobody really wants to inherit this property, at least not for financial gain. And here's the twist, it's not an old lord who gets murdered, at least not as a first victim, because here We are dealing with multiple murders, which adds a little bit more excitement to all this story, especially given how few characters we are given here. I think it's like 6 of them or 7, like no more than that. The book also includes some sharp observations on English history. I imagine it would have been really interesting to read back then, or maybe not. I think depending on the reader, but anyway, I still found it very interesting, even though I'm pretty sure that my limited knowledge of English history kept me from understanding it fully with all these nuances. But anyway, it was really fascinating to read. As for the mystery itself, I really liked how it unfolded. I did not figure out the culprit myself before the main investigator did, so that was amazing for me, at least. More funnily enough, there is a real police officer among the guests who kinda tries to conduct an investigation himself. He's not a detective, but he's still like a police officer, as I said, so he's more like used to things like that. But at the end, it's not he who played Poirot at the end and solved the mystery. But what I liked most is that this book is really tied to England itself, and the title, An English Murder, makes here the perfect sense, because as one of the characters state here, this murder could only happen in England. Okay, our next book I'm gonna read is Murder for Christmas by Francis Duncan. And this story is... Okay, I've just realized something stupid that I've done. So, this book that I was intending to read the next was in fact published in 1949, which is 2 years earlier than this one. And it kind of ruins my idea to read the books in the succession of their first publishing date, to kind of follow the development of the Christmas mystery genre. But as you may see, I'm not very smart. Maybe that's why I didn't figure out the murder in the first book, but... So, okay, at least now I know, and I will take it into account while reading. But anyway, this is our next book. This book is basically about the same stuff. There is a huge mansion, there is a party, a lot of guests, maybe family, maybe someone else, and someone is murdered there. And as I've heard, it's somebody who is dressed like Santa Claus. Who could do that? Who could murder Santa Claus? Let's read and find out. Hello there again. You may notice that I sound a little bit sick. That is just because I am a little bit sick. Which is sad, but I've just finished Murder for Christmas, which is good, and I actually liked it a little bit more than the previous one, the previous book, which is also good. The story here follows the main character, an amateur detective in his 60s, who is invited to celebrate Christmas in a huge mansion, and the mansion's owner, Benedict Graham, hosts the Christmas parties, Christmas celebrations in kind of old school style, with a gathering of guests, huge Christmas tree, the parties, the dinner, the presents, and the Santa Claus. And as you may expect in this kind of books, by the Christmas morning, the murder has taken place. And here, that was wonderful, at least for me, that was wonderful. Even the murder itself was an unexpected thing. Maybe it's just because I had some expectations before I started reading. But okay, I was surprised. Okay, alright? The investigation was fascinating too. There are far more characters than there are in an English murder. Well, in the previous book I read. And it is a flow and a strength at the same time. Because on the one hand, it's harder to keep track of everyone, of every character, all the names, backgrounds and everything, just because the book is not so big. It is in fact bigger than the previous one, but still not so big. On the other hand, the story looks more layers and more complex because of that, because everyone has secrets, everyone is suspicious. And if you are someone who likes solving the mystery as they read, well, good luck. Because yeah, you can understand who is a murderer, for sure, but unravel all the intricate web of events happened during that night, no way. And the motive for the murder was a complete surprise for me. Well, it explained a lot about the strange behavior of the guests, because they were strange, like all of them. But it was not something I expecting to come, like at all. It was such a surprise, but a good surprise. Well, I totally satisfied with this explanation, with this plot twist. Very good, very refreshing, even considering that the book is old. But still, there is a drawback. It is only one for me, but a very significant one. The problem is I can only speak vaguely about this drawback because it's a major spoiler. But there is a particular action that the murderer takes that for some reason actually is fairly popular in mysteries, which looks very, very stupid. At least for me. I don't know why, but authors kind of liked it for some reason. And there is a ways to make it work, or at least looks kind of natural, but this is not this case. And it makes it worse for me, sorry. But overall, I still like the book. I still give it 4 stars. I enjoyed it more than the previous one. And a funny thing I noticed is that one of the main characters in an English murder was named Roger. And one of the main characters in this book, it's Murder for Christmas, is named Roger too. Which is a nice connection, but looks like it is the most common name in England of that time. But another connection is that one of the main characters in Murder for Christmas, the current book I'm talking about, is Benedict Graham, and the next book I'm going to read is written by Alexandra Benedict, and this is a nice connection to have. So I'm talking about the Christmas Murder Game by Alexandra Benedict. This book is already a modern one. It was published in 2021, so not so long ago. And this book again is about another great family unit celebrating their Christmas. But in this time they are compete with each other for the right to own their family house. And it looks like they cannot do that without a murder. I haven't started yet, but I already noticed that there is 2 games for a reader that you can play while reading. So the first one is searching for anagrams. You may see. May you? You may. There is 12 anagrams. I guess it's because there are 12 part of this game they play in the book, and 12 days they spend together. So 12 anagrams and 12 titles of the detective mystery novels that are hidden somehow. I hope it in the book. And there is also the family tree, which is actually quite nice for the books like that, because there are often very big families with very strange connections with each other. So this is quite nice to have something to refer to. Let's start it. Let's dive in. Hi! I just finished the book. No, not exactly just. I finished it yesterday evening. What a wonderful time I spent. This book is just bad. First of all, the setup of this book, I don't remember if I said something about this. I didn't know a lot, but now I know everything about the plot, and it is just very stupid. We have our main character, Lily. I will show you on this wonderful family tree. She is hare here. So as you see, she has a lot of cousins, and she is the oldest of all these cousins. This whole family, they have a huge mansion, obviously, and every Christmas when they were children, the parents, the older people who lived in this mansion, they created some games for these children to solve some puzzles and riddles and everything, and then they found Christmas presents. Some time ago, I think around 20 years ago, when our main character was 12 years old, her mother died during this Christmas season, and her daughter found her. After that, she hates this house, she hates Christmas in this house, all these games, everything, like obviously. But her aunt, Liliana, as you see, like Lily and Liliana, she is owner of the house now, at the present moment, and she decided for some reason to create a game for her niece and other cousins for the right to own the house, which is already a little bit strange. And she invites Lily. Lily refuses, obviously. I don't want the house, I don't want to go there, blah blah blah. After that, she dies, and kinda unexpectedly. Like, she had some disease, I don't remember which disease she had, but she had something, but she died, and she prepared everything in advance, all the game and a letter for Lily. In this letter, she says something like, "Oh, if you read this, I'm already dead." What a surprise. She says that please participate in these games, because I still want you to play the games. And in the puzzles, I hide the clues to solving your mother's death, because she did not do that herself. She was murdered. And I like, what the hell? Why are you so cruel? Why are you so cruel? Couldn't you just tell her, like, this person did that, that's it? Why force her to solve mystery, to return to place she hates? Why? And she bites her because obviously Lily wants to know who did that. I don't understand, but okay. But this Liliana, this woman is a bitch. She has her own children, daughter and son, and looks like she hates them. She hates them literally because she likes only Lily. She always states that you were my favorite. Like, what the hell? You have your own children. Aren't they supposed to be your favorite? After death of her sister, Lily's mother, she adopts Lily, but I think I had an impression that she always preferred Lily to her own children, and after that it becomes like crazy. She always criticized her daughter, she always compared her with Lily and everything, and there is no surprise that her daughter is a bitch too. She has very terrible character, but I see the reasons. I cannot blame her for it. And Liliana wants Lily to own the house, to inherit the house. That's super obvious. It's super obvious, and I don't understand why create the game in the first place. Just write that in your last will, like, oh, I want my niece to inherit the house. That's it. And that's so simple. So many people could be still alive if you do just that. And this book tricked me because it is not what I thought it would be. I thought a detective story, but it is not a detective story. There is no detective, there is no investigation, nobody tried to solve the murders. And even you as a reader cannot really investigate the murders because you don't know who was where in the time of murder, who did what. You know, you follow only Lily and she does nothing, she cares about nothing. And there are so many murders there. This is insane. They dies like every day and there are 12 days. And at some point I've started to like play a game with myself, like who is the next? And all these people are crazy, and in the present and in the past and everywhere. I can't understand the person who did that because with such a parents, that is no surprise. And the whole idea of the book seems to be not an investigation, but the puzzles. Because, as I said, there is a game, there are 12 days, 12 puzzles to solve. But as a reader, you don't care. You cannot solve those puzzles because they're very character related, they're very place related to their past and memories. So you can just follow them. Like, oh yeah, solution is that because your mother liked music. Okay, how did I know that before? I did not. I think that's why author edits her own games in this book, because I think I mentioned it before. There are 2 games for the reader to solve anagrams, which is hard, especially for me to solve some anagrams in English. It was impossible. I did not do that. And searching for Christmas mystery book titles, and I found one. I didn't do that intentionally, but I just found an English murder. I just met an English murder word somewhere closer to the end of the book, and I was, there was a game. Yes. And but that means there is an answer for that. There is an author for this. And that means that I have 12 detective books for the Christmas season, which are supposedly better than this one. And, well, okay, I read 2 of them in the first part of the video. What a surprise. But I still have 10. You know what? There is a 3rd game for the reader. In acknowledgement section, she added the word search and put every person who she wants to thank inside this word search and left us to find them. And you know what I was doing in the evening yesterday after I finished this book? Yes, I solved this puzzle. And I did that. And that was the most exciting part of this book. Okay, I don't know. I didn't like this book. You know, there are books that are bad and boring. This one is not. This one is bad, but very fun to read. Had a very great great time with this book. Now I have a problem because I want to read one more book and the book is from the same author. I don't know, I bought it, I plan to read it, I think I will do that anyway, because even if it's very bad and stupid, okay, but it's still, at least it will be again fun. Maybe I like to torture myself. By the way, subscribe to my channel if you like see how people suffer with the bad books. I don't know, but well, I hope there is still some hope that I will like this book better. Maybe there are some funny games too that I could play, maybe another word search. I really enjoyed it, really. But yeah, let's go. Hello again! Last time during this video, I hope at least, and I'm here with another book I finished. If you don't remember, I was reading this book. I will try to be quick about the book just because I have a lot of things to say. The first thing I need to mention that this one is actually better than the previous one. Wow, I did not expect that because of the reviews on this book are worse. For me, this is the average 3-star book. Nothing special, nothing very bad in particular, nothing very good in particular either. The main problem for me here with this book is that everything, the cover, the description, the tone, the festive and funny tone of the first pages of this book are very different from what this book is actually about, because it raises a lot of very concerning and triggering topics like violence, domestic violence, assaults, and so on and so forth. I could say that I was triggered by this, but I just didn't expect that. I expected some cozy mystery read. It was not bad at all. I mean, it's important to raise those topics. It's just the book was not advertised correctly. That's the whole point, and I think it's what triggers a lot of people who read this book, because, well, the mystery, the whole investigation, that there is an investigation and there is a detective, the ex-police officer of our main character, Rose. She conducts this investigation, and all the setup is it's quite decent, because there is a train. There are, I think, 18 passengers on this train and around 20 characters overall who just happen to be in this train in the middle of nowhere. They derailed, and there's a heavy snowfall, so engineers and police officers cannot get to them quickly, and that sounds quite okay, quite fun. Not fun, quite fine. From this description, you expect it to be like old school detective stories, but there are so many social topics and so many drama. I was not ready for that. That's all. I couldn't say that it was very exciting. I felt bored and sad at some point during the reading. And there are no games. There are some quizzes. There are again anagrams, which I do not solve anagrams, and there are quizzes, and that's it. Even in acknowledgement section, there is a new quiz, which honestly, you cannot do, because all these questions is like, who is the very best husband and writer in all of the time and space? And your husband maybe? I don't know. This is an acknowledgement section, and it is my new husband. Wow. That was very strange. give me my word search, please. I think that's all I wanted to say about this book. Nothing in particular, very like average book. And I think it's just the time to give some conclusion to this video. So I managed to read 4 books. Better, 4 books. 2 of them I really liked. One of them was not bad, not good, and one was super awful. So the worst book for me was this piece of literature. Please never read it, anyone. On the 3rd place is this average book. Then I would say that the 2nd place goes to An English Murder, just because there was less character development and unique characters than in the book in the 1st place. So yes, the 2nd place, and on the 1st place, this book, even though I said there's a flaw that I really hate in all these books, but anyway, the whole story, the detective Mordecai, he was a very interesting figure, and all the murder and his reasons were quite interesting for me too. So the 1st place. What conclusion we can make from all of that? Was it better in the past? Just because I said that I liked the books, classic books from the past, and not the modern books. Of course not. It just means that I picked very wrong modern books for this Christmas season. The grass is not always greener in the past, or in the neighboring garden. I will just try to make a better research next time. I think this is it. Tell me please in the comments, what are you reading during this Christmas season? Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and what you think about them. Good luck, happy reading, and see you next time.